Oh hey guys, how are you doing? So I thought I would make a very quick guide about how to become pretty powerful in the game, starting at level 80, and we are going to move up from there. So getting to level 80, there's a lot of stuff that you can do. You can do questing, you can do dungeons, you can do PvP even, or a combination of all three, which is probably the best course of action. So what I generally do when I reach level 80 is, first of all, I would download an add-on called Atlas Loot. Atlas Loot tells you a lot of information about the various dungeons and raids, as well as a lot of information about armor and whatnot. You can download Atlas Loot from anywhere like WoW or CurseForge, which are websites and add-ons which help manage your add-ons. So we're going to be looking at CurseForge today. So cool. This, under the Dungeons and Raids tab, basically has all of your stuff, all of the different runs that you can do. These are the dungeons and these are the bottom of the raids. So you're going to want to focus on the dungeons first of all. Now, there's three different types of dungeons in the game at the moment. There are normal dungeons, which are, say, level 73 to 75. There are heroic dungeons, and then there are heroic plus dungeons. Now, when you're leveling up, you would have done the normal dungeons. But when you get to level 80, I would recommend you switch to the heroic dungeons. But bear in mind, you don't want to do heroic plus at the moment. Those are for later on. So there's going to be a lot of groups for heroic plus. So just when you go to join a group, just ask them what they want to do. Okay, you can basically use this add-on, for example, to locate items that you might need. So let's say you are a mage and you really need a nice mage trinket. You can look here, go to the Halls of Stone, for example, look at the final boss, and you can say, wow, the Forge Ember with a really nice item, which is going to give me critical strike, and it's going to give me some really nice damaging and healing spell damage increases. So that's good. Cool. So you can kind of plan what gear you need in advance. Then let's go down to the group finder. And first we are going to select from this menu dungeons. And then we are going to want Lich King heroic dungeons. At the moment I haven't done any of these. So all of these need a tank actually. Oh, I probably shouldn't join. We're all going to start messaging me. So yeah, there's a lot of people who want to go to a lot of different places, and they all need a tank. It seems everyone wants to go to the Halls of Lightning today, so I'm guessing that's for daily. I'm going to click off that quickly before they all start messaging me. Okay, so speaking about the daily, every day there's two dungeons, which are the daily dungeons. This guy will give you the normal dungeon rewards basically, and this guy on the other side will give you the heroic dungeons. Now you can also do the heroic dungeons on heroic plus, so you don't want to do that yet, you just want to do the heroics. Okay, so what I would recommend is you do the heroic dungeons until nearly all of your gear is either blue or purple at around about level 80. 79 or 78 isn't an issue, but you want to do the normal dungeons until you've got pretty good gear on everything. If there's a particular piece of gear that is really bad, for example, like I mentioned, my trinket, you can obviously look on Atlas Loot and see if there's anything in a dungeon that can replace that. Okay, cool. It's also worth noting that there are a few normal dungeons which still give you really good loot, so don't turn your nose up at the normal dungeons just because you're level 80 now. You can still do them and get upgrades. Cool, so let's say you get your items up to eye level 200, so that's pretty good. You've got all level 80 gear basically. Then you can start doing the heroic dungeons, I would say, or the raids. So let's go to raids, for example. You've got the 10-man and the 25-man. You can get yourself into one of these raids. Oh, but look at them all. There's so many of them. But you are going to need at least pretty decent gear to get into a lot of the raids, because otherwise people are going to kind of end up carrying you, which isn't a good feeling. You know, I've certainly been carried a few times. But, okay. Raids are good. I would also consider trying to join a guild if you can. There is a guild chat. So if you go to your chat menu, go settings down the bottom, we go other global channels. Guild recruitment is down here. Okay, so you can join a guild. If you aren't going to do a lot of raiding, for example, you may want to join a more casual guild. So yeah, that's entirely up to you, obviously. Okay, let's talk briefly about questing, because you can still get some really good items from questing. So one thing I would definitely recommend is you do the Sons of Hodor quest chain, because they are going to give you some very nice shoulder enchants. The quest chain starts in K3, which is right down the bottom of the map here in the middle. I would do every quest in K3, and I would follow the quest chain because they're going to lead you to a faction called the Sons of Hodor, who are going to give you some really cool stuff when you do the quests and get enough reputation with them. This will also help you get pretty good gear as well. Another thing you want to do when you level up to level 80 is, if you don't have flying yet, you can speak to this person in Dalaran, and they will train you in flying. Now, the other thing that you need is you need cold weather flying, which costs 1,000 gold, and you can actually send this to your other characters. It says it requires level 68, so you can actually fly from level 68, I believe, onwards, which is very, very nice. But obviously you need a level 80 character initially, I believe, to send this to your alts. The other thing you may want to get, if you have enough gold, is dual talent specialization. Now, for my warrior, I actually got this pretty much as soon as it came out on day one. It basically enables me to go either as a fury warrior, which does a lot of damage, or as a protection warrior, which enables me to tank stuff. So this actually gives me double utility, because I can do both tanking and I can do both DPS. So again, that costs 1,000 gold. You also probably want at some stage epic flying, because this is going to magnify the amount of resources you can gather on the map. It means you can get around more easily. It basically just speeds up everything in the game. So that's 5,000 gold. That isn't necessarily the most important thing, though. Cold weather flying and having a mount is pretty important, because if you want to go to Naxxramas, for example, you need to fly up to the Naxxramas base. And if you don't have a mount to do that, it's going to look a bit embarrassing, or a bit weird. So I would definitely get cold weather flying and get your basic flying done as soon as possible. Okay, just a quick note on professions. Every profession in Wrath of the Lich King gives you some kind of advantage for your character. So, for example, I'm an engineer and a blacksmith at the moment, and these give me some pretty big advantages. Blacksmithing, for example, gives me these really nice... Well, it gives my gloves a really nice speed increase, which basically increases my damage pretty significantly. And there's lots of other cool stuff that engineers can do as well. Blacksmithing obviously enables you to forge a lot of cool weapons and items, but it also enables me to have 2 extra slots on my gear. For example, my braces and my belt can have an extra slot here, which enables me to have 2 extra gems. There's lots of cool things about every profession. Gem makers, for example, can have extra powerful gems, which is really nice. Enchanters can have enchants on their rings, and they can also diss items, which generates quite a lot of money. So yeah, there's a lot of very, very nice things that you can have. So I would definitely get your professions up to the maximum level, or at least pretty close to it. Again, another thing that you need to do when you get to maximum level, and this is kind of important, but it's not like the top priority, is start to build up reputations with the different factions. So I'm going to look at Atlas Suit again. I'm going to look at factions. All of these factions will give you some really cool stuff. Now, for a Fury Warrior, some of the most important things are the Sons of Hodor. When you get maximum reputation with these guys, you unlock some really powerful shoulder enchants, which is very, very nice. We also have the Wimrist Accord. I think they give some nice caster stuff, which is kind of really good for casters. Yeah, permanently adds 30 spell power and 10 mana to a head slot item, so that's really good. We also have Knights of the Ebon Blade, and I believe at Revered they give you this, which is a head slot enchant. So that basically gives you 50 attack power and 20 critical strike on your head. If you are basically going to want to do a bit of research for your class, but definitely get a tabard. Once you reach friendly with a faction, you can basically buy a tabard, and the tabard will give you lots of really good reputation gains for your particular faction, and you're going to definitely want to do that. Okay guys, I don't think there's anything else. I guess we could very quickly cover the code of conduct. So there is a code of conduct. Basically, it's fairly simple. Just don't be too greedy. Don't try to trick people. Don't basically try to do stuff which is going to annoy people. You know, it's pretty obvious, I guess. Not that you guys would do this, but basically you want to make yourself like a fun character to be with, and you want to make yourself useful. So players really value competence, so get good at your class, and yeah, everything will be absolutely fine. And let me know in the comments if there was anything else that you think might be useful, guys, and I will speak to you guys soon.